Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. So this week I want to quickly go over our contextual analysis assignment, our first essay, and I also want to talk about our rhetorical analysis notes assignment this week. So first of all, the contextual analysis assignment. So basically, this is going to be a 5-page essay, double spaced. I want it to be 5 full pages, by the way, so make sure you're aiming for 6 pages. That will help you get to that minimum requirement. And you're going to have a works cited page. It should be 1 source, maybe 2 sources. And then this paper is going to be due March 2nd. And so if you have any questions about kind of what the expectations are, what it should look like, I also included a sample essay here. This is kind of an old essay from back when I was teaching at another school. But I think it will be helpful just if you have questions about kind of the general stuff of what I'm looking for, what maybe you want to aim for. This is a pretty good one in terms of like structure, for example. Okay. Basically, what we're going to be doing for this paper is we're going to be breaking down an argument into 4 parts: ethos, pathos, logos, which might sound really familiar to you, or not, and that's okay either way. And then the 4th one is kairos. And so this one might be kind of a new term, and that's why this is going to be called a contextual analysis instead of a rhetorical analysis, is we are going to be looking at like the textual elements of the argument, but we're also going to zoom out a little bit and say like, not only what is this text doing to make an argument, but why does this text exist when it does? And how can I kind of tell that it was made when it was made and by whom it was made and published where it was published, for example? Okay. And we're going to talk more about that kind of stuff with our next project too. So we're going to be kind of getting our feet wet with this first one. And then our next paper, I hope you'll be even more comfortable kind of talking about, context and things. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to analyze for this paper is I want you to analyze either a documentary or a podcast. And I'm really open-minded about the topic of the documentary or podcast. So I've included a lot of examples here, or a few examples here. I could definitely give you more if you have like certain topics of interest, for example. But these are the ones that are going to be based on the class theme. So the theme of the class is scams, cults, and conspiracy theories. So these documentaries and podcasts are going to be on that theme. You don't have to use one that's on the theme though for the class. It can be on anything. So it could be a sports documentary. It can be, a documentary about a scandal. It can be a documentary about, some kind of true crime thing outside of the class theme, whatever you want. But these are some suggestions if you don't know where to start, and hopefully that'll help. I'd also like to point you to Canopy, which is if you have a public library card, Canopy is a free streaming service. So it has movies, including documentaries that you can use, but you just need to make sure you have that public library card, like Phoenix Public Library, Mesa, etc. And then I'd also point you to PBS Frontline. This is a YouTube channel made by PBS. And so these are like pretty well-produced, popular documentaries that you can watch online for free. Podcasts typically are free. And so that's part of the reason that I wanted to make sure they're included in this assignment as an option. All right. So down here I have the general rubric for the paper, and I'm not going to go over everything because it's all written down, but basically just keep in mind that I am going to be grading primarily on content for the assignment instead of things like grammar and syntax. So I'm going to be grading based on whether or not you can correctly, you can like identify a rhetorical appeal. You can talk about examples of that appeal that you're noticing in the documentary or podcast. I'm going to be looking at your thesis statement. I'm going to give you sort of a formula for a thesis statement that I think will help with that. Organization is going to be mostly based on, paper structure, of course, but also like, are your sections balanced? Certain rhetorical appeals are easier to analyze than others. Like pathos typically is much easier to analyze than logos or kairos. And so you want to make sure that you are dedicating your time and focus to looking at them and trying to be really thorough with each. All right. So the other assignment that we have for this week, well, this is not due until March, but start thinking about it. The other assignment we have this week is the rhetorical analysis notes. And so for this, I just want to make sure, let me show you. You're going to watch this John Oliver episode on pig butchering. It sounds really gross, but it's actually about a type of scam that probably many of you have experienced. I know I have, and I'll save it for John to break it, to explain it. But basically, this is going to be a pretty approachable way of talking about a scam that is currently happening. And hopefully you'll learn some things, but also you'll be able to figure out kind of how to analyze a documentary through analyzing this like shorter comic type of informational video. And what you want to do here is you want to kind of break the notes down into 4 categories: ethos, pathos, and logos, which I'm going to go over in a separate video. And then you want to make sure that you have lists of at least 5 for the big 3 rhetorical appeals: ethos, pathos, and logos. And then I want you to have at least 1 rhetorical analysis or rhetorical appeal for Kairos that you've identified in the video, and just do your best. It's okay if you get it wrong or if you're not sure. I can help point you in the right direction. Okay, this is just going to be for completion points, the notes, and so I'm just trying to make sure that everybody kind of knows what we're doing and is going to be successful in the essay. All right, have a great week. I'm going to follow up soon with one on the rhetorical appeals.